you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss the most important factor that contributes to good performance in reading skills among young children is parental support. So, I strongly believe that parental support is the most crucial factor in influencing children's reading performance, especially during the early years. While schools, teachers, and digital tools play a role, the foundation of literacy development begins at home, shaped by parents' attitudes, interactions, and involvement in children's reading experiences. Research over the past 2 decades consistently shows that when parents engage actively in their children's reading, those children will develop stronger vocabulary, better comprehension, and more positive attitude toward reading. Evidence from research that I found: parental involvement as a key predictor of reading achievement according to Seneschal and Lefebvre 2002 in their longitudinal study, parental involvement in the development of children's reading skills. So they say that children whose parents frequently read storybooks, discuss stories, and encourage independent reading demonstrate significantly higher reading comprehension and vocabulary growth compared to children with limited parental interaction. So the researchers found that home literacy environment, including access to books, storytelling routines, and literacy related talk, was a stronger predictor of reading outcomes than socioeconomic status or classroom factors. This shows that parental support provides the most emotional and linguistic foundation for literacy. Okay.
Okay, for me, there's another research that based on the emotional and motivational influence of parents. The research says that Harvard, Dempsey, and Stander, 1997, in their theoretical model on parental involvement, explain that children's motivation to read increase when parents show interest and provide encouragement. When parents praise their children's reading progress, discuss stories, and show positive attitudes toward books, its book instilling motivation. Motivates children not only read more frequently but also engage more deeply with text, leading to better comprehension and reading fluency. Therefore, emotional support from parents is not just about supervision, it is about creating a positive literacy identity for the child.
Another point that I found is home literacy practices and language exposure. Another important study by Bas Van Ingevedorns and Pellegrini 1995 in their meta-analysis joins book reading makes for success in learning to read. Review of education research 65 1 page 1 to 21 found that shared book reading between parents and children correlated strongly with early literacy skills. This includes phonemics, awareness, vocabulary acquisitions, and narrative understanding, all essential for reading proficiency. Even 10 to 50 minutes of shared reading daily can significantly improve children's language processing skills. Thus, quality home reading routines are a simple but powerful forms of parental support that enhance school performance in reading.
Okay, so for modern perspective, technology and parental mediation in a more recent context, Newman 2018, in parent scaffolding of young children's use of touch screen technology for early literacy, computers, and education. This shows that when parents guide children's use of digital reading apps, they help children link print and sound, strengthening phonics and word recognition skills. So this study proved that even in digital reading environments, Parental guidance remains a critical factor in ensuring meaningful literacy learning. So, without guidance of parent, children may focus only on the entertainment aspect rather than on actual reading comprehension. So, there's a five reasons why parental support is the most important factor. So, firstly, it's early exposure and habit formation. Reading habits from at home, reading habits form at home long before formal schooling begins. So parental involvement introduce books, language, and curiosity in early in life.
Okay. The other reason is individualized intention. Parents know their child learning pace, straightness, and weakness better than teachers who handle many students.
Another reason is emotional bonding and motivations. Positive reinforcement from parents increase children's confidence and reduce reading anxiety.
And last but not least, and furthermore, consistent reinforcement. Learning doesn't stop at school. Parents reinforce literacy skills daily taught through conversations, bedtime reading, and encouragement.
And last but not least, the culture and value transmission. Reading with parents allows children to learn cultural values, moral lessons, and family tradition, enriching the reading experience.
And I think other factors like quality teaching, peer influence, and digital resources also play roles in improving reading performance. However, without parental support, these influences are limited to kids. So, even the best classroom instruction cannot fully compensate for a lack of engagement at home. Parents can also provide the continuity and personal attention that formal education alone cannot offer. So, for the conclusion for parental support, I think parental support stands as the most influential and consistent factor in nurturing children's reading performance. From emotional encouragement to structured reading routines, parents shape both the skill and the attitude toward reading. As the saying goes, children learn to love reading on the laps of their parents. Therefore, to promote literacy success, educational policies and teachers must continue empower parents as active partners in children's reading development. I think that's all for parental support.
Okay, now I want to discuss why experienced teachers are the most important factor that contributes to good performance in reading skills among young children. While factors such as parental involvement, socioeconomic background, and curriculum are important, numerous studies have shown that the quality and experience of teachers play the most significant role in improving children's reading outcomes. In this presentation, in this explanation, I will share evidence explain key reasons and support them with research reference from several reliable sources. The first evidence from the first evidence from research that I got is, according to John Hattie, 2008, in his influential book Visible Learning, teacher quality is among the top influence on student achievement with an effect size of 0.72 that is far higher than class size or family background.
Okay, so I think the other evidence from research. The National Reading Panel 2000 also concluded that effective reading instruction requires skilled teachers who understand and apply five essential components of reading. For example, phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. What about you, Ika?
Furthermore, Potters and the other authors found that student taught by teachers with deeper knowledge of early readings make significantly larger gains in decoding and comprehension compared to those taught by less experienced teachers.
Okay. The first reason that I thought that experienced teachers is the most important factor to children is experienced teachers diagnose reading problems effectively. One major one major reason experienced teachers have a strong impact is their ability to accurately diagnose reading difficulties. Young children struggle with different aspects of reading. It is because for example, some with letter recognition, other with blending sounds, and some with understanding meaning. Experienced teachers can identify this issue early and adjust their teaching accordingly. For example, they might notice that a child confused similar sounds like B and D and provide target phonemic exercise. This, this diagnostic ability saves valuable time and ensures that no child is left behind.
The other reason I think teachers must have deep knowledge of reading pedagogy because experienced teachers have a deeper understanding of how children learn to read. They know that reading development involves a combination of cognitive, linguistic, and motivational factors, so they can balance systematic phonics instruction with rich storybook reading and discussion, which will build comprehension and vocabulary their students. So, research by Brunsack and others 2020 found that teachers who participated in ongoing professional development and had several years of experience in literacy instruction achieved better child literacy outcomes than those who were new to teaching. So, these reasons show that teaching experience combined with continuous learning is the best formula for improving reading performance. What about you, Ika?
Another factor is that experienced teachers are better at managing classroom and delivering clear structured lessons. According to Hattie 2008, teacher clarity and effective feedback are among the most powerful influencing on learning. Experienced teachers maintain routine that maximize learning time, ensure children stay focused, and creating a positive, engaging learning environment. For instance, during a reading sessions, they know how to group students based on ability, how to scaffold story, and when to offer praise or corrective feedback. This classroom management skill directly enhance reading fluency and confidence among children.
Okay, now some may argue that home environment or parental involvement are more important than teacher experience. It is true that home literacy experience matter. However, research consistently shows that the most significant school-based factor in reading achievement is the teacher.
Mm, in fact, that effective teachers can reduce the learning gap caused by socio-economic differences by providing structured, individualized reading instruction.
And others might say that years of teaching experience alone do not guarantee quality. That's also true. What matters most is experienced teacher who will continue professional learning and apply evidence based on method.
So it is not just about years of teaching, but years of effective teaching and continuous improvement. Okay, so now I want to talk about implication for schools and policymakers. Based on these findings, schools and policymakers should hire and retain qualified, experienced reading teachers. This is especially in early grades. Other than that, they should provide ongoing professional development to help teachers stay updated with current reading research. Other than that, it is to implement data-driven reading instruction where teachers use assessment to guide their teaching. Lastly, they should encourage peer mentoring where experienced teachers coach younger teachers in literacy instruction. This action ensure that teaching experience is used effectively to improve reading outcome.
And let me give a short example. Imagine a 5 years old named Aina who struggled to recognize size of words, and an experienced teacher noticed this pattern early. Use visual aids, repetitions, and short interactive games to reinforce recognitions. Within a few weeks, Aina improved her reading fluency, something that might not happen if the teacher lacks the experience to identify and address the problem effectively.
In conclusion, evidence strongly supports that experienced teachers are the most important factor contributing to children's success in reading. They bring diagnostic skill, deep pedagogical knowledge, effective classroom management, and the ability to adapt teaching to each child's needs. As Hattie 2008 stated, it is what teachers know, do, and care about that matters most in teaching. Therefore, investing in teacher experience and ongoing training is not just beneficial, but it is essential for developing proficient young readers. Okay, how about your opinion?
Okay, so for my part, I'm gonna talk about first influence, or how friends actually affect children reading performance. And honestly, I think this is something we don't talk about enough. Most people always say, oh, it's the parents or the teacher, right? But if you think about it, once kids start school, they spend more time with their friends than with their parents. So naturally, friends play a big role too. Okay, so let's start with the positive side first. When a child has a friends who like reading, you know that they will always bring book, talk about stories, or read during free times. The energy spreading is like, if my friends are reading, maybe I should read too. There's actually a study by Guthrie and Whitfield 2000 they say when children are in social group that values reading, their motivation to read increases. And that's what makes a total sense, right? Kids doesn't learn from a teacher, they learn by observing each other's.
Okay, but of course, peer influence isn't always positive. It can go the other way too. Sometimes kids might think reading is boring or uncool if their friends don't like reading or if they tease others for being bookworms. That really affects motivation. So there's a research by Ryan 2001 that shows how peer groups shape not just behavior but also academic identity. So if a child belongs to a group that doesn't care about reading, they will probably see they will probably read less, not because they don't like it, but because they don't want to be left out. They want to be fit in the group.
But here's the good news. Teachers can actually turn peer influence into something real positive. There's this study by Funds and Funds 2005 about peer-assisted learning strategies. Basically, teachers pair up strong readers with weaker ones and they read together regularly. The result? Poor students improve. The strong readers feels more confident because they are helping and the weaker reader feels supported, not judged. So, peer pressure become peer support.
And if you think about it, reading doesn't have to be a solo thing. Kids can read in pairs, small group, or even share a story out loud. That kind of social reading makes it more fun and less scary. And you know what's interesting? Kids actually learns a lot about confidence through their friends. When their classmates say, "Wow, you read so well," and it actually boosts their self-esteem. Esteem. Marinats and Goebbels 2008. 2010 found that children who feel confident and enjoy reading are more likely to keep improving. So even a small confidence coming from your friends can make a big difference. And in my opinion, the best way to use peers influence positive is to create reading community things like reading buddy programs where kids read with each others and group storytelling where they buy a story together. So if I were to sum it up, first influence is like a double-edged sword. It can either helps or hurts. If the group see reading as something valuable, fun, and valuables, every child benefits. But if reading is seen as boring and embarrassing, it can stop kids from improving. That's why schools and parents need to guide those relationships in positive direction because at the end of the day, kids gonna copy their friends more than anyone else. So we're gonna make sure that they're copying a good habit. And if I had to put it simply, teacher might teach how to read, parents might encourage when to read, but friends decide whether reads feel cool or not. That's all from me.
So I think we all agree about I think. What about you guys? Do you think what the most important to develop reading skills to young children? Do you think it's a parental support or peer influence or um, experienced teachers?
Okay, for me, I think parental support is the most to important factor that contribute to good performance reading skill for the children. It is because it is because um, the children start reading by at home. Their parents show for example, their parents give them a flashcard to their start reading. That's the flashcard give the words and the picture, so the children can identify the words and the picture correctly. So what's about you guys?
I think I agree with you, Beha, because parental support, I think the most important to develop reading skills to young children because when I think because when they at home they can um, do an interaction with their parents about reading skill reading skills. For example, like you said, um, parents can read books before their children go to sleep. Like when their children want to go to sleep, they will read story books that um, interesting to read, like um, the general like fairy tales. So I think parental support is the most important because children can influence their friends to read a book, or they can tell their friends like, you know what, my parents last night read me a book before I go to sleep. So their friends will be like, oh, I want to ask my parents to read a book for me too. So it can influence their friends. So the parents influence their child, so their children can influence their other friends. So I think it's the most important lah for parental support. So what about you, Pika?
So I couldn't agree more with you guys, since without their early support at home, it's harder for children to buy interest in reading later. Parents doesn't need to show parents doesn't need to be an expert. They just need to show care and affections to the children. So it can make a big difference to the children's growth. It's all from me.
I really agree with you guys that the parental support is the most important thing that can contribute performance reading skills to the children. So
I think we all agree about parental support, but I think peer influence and experienced teachers have a good uh, have a big role too for young children about reading skills. So I think three of them three of them um, play a big role for young children, but for the most important thing is parental support because it's from their home.
Yeah, I really, really agree with you.
So I think that's all from us.
That's all from us.
So we'll end this discussion.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we can end this discussion and thank you for you guys that discuss with me.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I'm truly pleased with this topic, and I have fun talking about this. Thank
Yeah.
you, guys.